All right, guys, what's up? I've got a couple of comments, questions from yesterday's video. And so one of those questions was from Crosscut Creations. And I'm going to turn you guys around right here because he asked about my lathe. Now, this is a Harbor Freight lathe. That's a 14 by 40 lathe. I use it to mainly turn mallets. But I could turn table legs on this because it's long enough. The previous versions of this thing, it had a solid base, and I think it caused the bed to kind of warp up a little bit, or I don't know what the issue was, but they went to these rails, and it seemed to work out fine. I haven't had any issues with this. Now, the things that I do like about this particular lathe is I use this sander quite a bit. I do like the idea of having this longer bed all on one. It's light enough I can move it by itself. I can, let's see what else. Well, there's not a whole lot you can say about this lathe because it's kind of plain, but it does work well for my application. Like I said, I turn mallets a lot. Now, if I was turning a lot of heavy table legs, I don't know if this would be the application for that. So this may not be of use to a lot of folks. But for less than $200, it's been working out great. Now, the things I do not like about it is that a lot of these releases here, like this star knob, is for the tool rest. And in order to move the entire tool rest, you have to loosen up this bolt. This is why I have this hanging here. A lot of this is plastic, like the threads are hard plastic. I think they feel like it anyway. They might be metal. I think they are. But this handle's plastic. No MT2, no Morse taper 2 on this. It just has a threaded rod on that. So I had to get an adapter to accept my chuck, which, let's see if I've got it handy. This is the chuck that I use, the Barracuda chuck, and the adapter is, I think it's in the case. It might be in the case. So anyway, to change the speed on this thing, you do it right here and loosen up an Allen bolt or whatever. But this is the belt, and it's got what, 4 different speeds. Yeah, so it's got let's see, 2500, 2050, 1500, 930. So they got 4 speeds on this, and you have to change a belt. That's kind of a deal breaker for some folks. But overall, I mean, I like it overall because it's served, what I'm using it for. Let me show you here's the specs on it. So it's a 14 by 40 with a 7-inch sander, and here's all the numbers and such. So that's 67690. That's the model number. That's what it says here. Model number. So, I mean, it's not the best out there, and I'm sure there are some lathes out there that are less qualified, I guess. But anyway, it's doing the job for me. So the next lathe I get, the smaller lathe that I've been talking about for several weeks now, it'll be a Jet or a Rikon or something. It won't be another Harbor Freight, just for the simple fact of I want something a little more easier to use with some quick connects and that kind of thing. Easy release tool rest and that kind of thing. So yeah, hope that helps you out. If you guys have any questions about anything you see in my shop, please ask me below, because doing these videos, I want to be able to answer the questions that you guys have and help you guys out, because I know a lot of you are starting out with your own shops. A lot of you have had a shop for, since you could walk, but so I'm kind of a rookie in that sense. Some of you guys have a lot more time on me, but if I can answer any questions concerning anything in my shop and the way I do things, I'd be glad to. I'd be happy to. I do want to clarify one thing. I talked about a spare time workshop, I think last video or video before last. Can't remember, but it's Spare Time Builds, and the guy is Jay. That's his name. He came out to Skytook and turned a mallet with me, and he took it home with him. So I wanted to clarify that it's Spare Time Builds. He's working on his website. Cool dude. So when he gets his site up and running, be sure and let you guys know. The last thing I want to talk about is the idea that I was talking about with the business side of things. I'm not starting a podcast or anything like that. Brad Rodriguez and John Malecki have a podcast called Made for Profit. It's really good stuff. And so if you are interested in the business side of things, like, with YouTube and social media and all that, listen to their podcast. So go subscribe to their podcast, Made for Profit, and listen to those guys. They know what they're talking about. So I listen to it and I love it. But what I was talking about was providing some additional information for the business side of things, of like what I do with YouTube, the website stuff. I'm more into the passive income. I like to work with plans and affiliates and that kind of thing. I do like to build things, obviously. I don't really get into the taking orders or building things for people to sell, just for the sake of not being stressed out, or due dates, or unsatisfied customers. I'm not saying I won't do those things, but I just don't do that primarily. So my thinking on the business side of things, if you guys are interested, and I've already had some good feedback, and that's the reason I'm talking about it again, is because I don't want to go in the podcast direction. I want to go more like the Patreon direction. And for the simple fact of is just to actually talk to you guys, to have a Google Hangout, or for those of you that want to know more about how to make this a business, what's involved, what does it look like, all the unknown things that you don't know going into it, the things that I didn't know going into it, the things that I've learned. I'm toying with the idea of sharing all that, and my person, where I'm at with my business and what I'm learning. And so I think the best place for that, because of the nature of it, would have to be something like Patreon. So at a certain level, we could basically have a group of people that just come together and work through things, and maybe my experiences would help you. So anyway, that's kind of the direction I'm talking about going. Now, if you have questions about that, or if there are things that you want to talk about further, leave me a comment below. Go to my website and contact me through the contact page if it's something you don't want to air out on YouTube. So that is that. Now, I don't think I'll have a video next week on Tuesday, because it's here in the States. It is 4th of July, then Independence Day. So I probably will take that day off to hang with family. So I will see you guys Monday, and that's all I got for today. See ya.